Hi gang, Brad here with another short video of Chapter 16, Monopolistic Competition. Let's identify one particular company that would represent a monopolistically competitive company. I'm going to say Abercrombie and Fitch. In the clothing industry, it's monopolistically competitive. You go to Jordan Creek Mall, there's a relatively large number of sellers of clothing, of which Abercrombie and Fitch is one. There's lots of product differentiation. So a monopolistically competitive firm like Abercrombie and Fitch would have product differentiation. They are not price takers, so there would be a downward sloping demand curve, unlike the horizontal demand curve in perfect competition represented by our acronym Mr. DARP. Now, there would be very easy entry and exit. Hey, you can start up a shop in the mall and shut down a shop in the mall pretty easily. And so there would be zero economic profits in the long run. And these monopolistically competitive firms like Abercrombie and Fitch are going to rely very heavily on advertising and non-price competition. So let's see how Abercrombie and Fitch could make a profit in the short run. Here you're going to produce or get the product out the door, the profit maximizing quantity, where MR is equal to MC. Draw on the average total cost line representing Abercrombie and Fitch's expenses, and compare that to the price that the consumer is willing to pay. If it only costs Abercrombie and Fitch $20 to make a hoodie and get it in the store, do all of the retail activities associated with it, and get it out the door, it costs them $20. And if a customer is willing to pay $25 for it, that would be P1, then Abercrombie and Fitch is going to be making an economic profit of $5 off of that hoodie. Let's redo that situation and see what it looks like. Okay, here we have Abercrombie and Fitch producing where marginal revenue equals marginal cost, getting it out the door, and the profit maximizing quantity here would be about 5. At the average total cost, it costs Abercrombie and Fitch price A1 or $20 to just get it out to the door to the customer. All of their expenses included. The customer pays $25, and so therefore there is an economic profit of $5 per hoodie. Now I'm going to let you watch the graph being built and process it in your head. See if you can understand how it works. And that is for an economic profit. Now, if you haven't drawn this graph down in your notes, pause right here, draw the graph down, make sure you understand it, and then continue. Now let's analyze how Abercrombie and Fitch could make a loss on that hoodie. Marginal revenue equals marginal cost. Draw the line up to the average total cost curve, and you'll see that it actually costs them more on the average per hoodie to get it out the door than customers are willing to pay for it. So let's review and explain how that process worked. Marginal revenue is equal to marginal cost, the profit maximizing or loss minimizing output. Next, you draw the line down to the loss minimizing quantity, draw the line up, and you'll see that it actually cost Abercrombie and Fitch $20 to produce that sweatshirt. Now, if demand had gone down, consumers are now paying $15 for that hoodie. They're paying $15, but it costs Abercrombie and Fitch $20 to get it out the door. So they're losing $5 on each hoodie. That is an economic loss, and if Abercrombie and Fitch and all other clothing retailers like them were to experience economic losses over the long run, firms would exit the industry. Now I'm going to have that appear one more time and process it in your mind as it is happening. So do you understand where the loss comes from? It cost them $20 to get it out the door, but the consumers are only paying $15 for that hoodie. That's an economic loss. If you haven't taken notes on this graph yet, take a minute, stop the video, write down the graph as you see it, and then continue. Now let's analyze what happens in the long run where there's only a zero economic profit. And a zero economic profit means a normal accounting profit. Bills and salaries and stockholders are being paid. Everyone is happy. Drawn the average total cost curve, it touches the demand curve at the long run equilibrium point, where the price that consumers are paying is exactly equal to the cost that it takes to get that hoodie out the door. So consumers are paying $20, it's costing $20. In the long run, there is a zero economic profit. People are happy with that because bills and salaries and stockholders, everyone is being paid. If you haven't written that down yet, take a moment, pause the video, and write this graph out so that you understand it. There's one last graph to draw out now, which shows you everything that is written on this page. Monopolistically competitive firms are inefficient in comparison to perfectly competitive firms because the price is greater than the minimum point on the average total cost curve. What that means is there is excess capacity compared to perfect competition. All those words create this picture where the average total cost curve touches the demand curve. That's the price that consumers are willing to pay and the average cost that it takes to get those products out the door. You'll notice that the production quantity is not the quantity that would be at the minimum point of the average total cost curve. A monopolistically competitive firm is actually producing less quantity than would be at the efficient scale. And they're also producing it at a slightly higher price. And so there are inefficiencies within the monopolistically competitive industries. If you haven't written this graph down yet, please take a moment, pause the tape, and draw out the graph. It's been a long day for me, and I'm sure it's been a long day for you. That's all, ladies and gentlemen. Have a great night. Take care. Good luck on the test.